the gas,
Like an additive,
like
yeah.
gallon things, yeah.
And then there's
Additive.
there's two different colors of diesel. One is taxed for cars, one is not taxed for cars. And you'll get in trouble if you're running green.
Are we good? It's 4 o'clock.
All right, it is 4 o'clock, so I'm going to call the Committee on Public Safety for October 8th to order. Let the record reflect all members are present. We have the minutes.
Move to accept the minutes from September 24th, 2024 as presented.
We have a proper motion in place. Is there any further discussion? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passes 3-0. All right, next we are on to public comment on agenda items. If there is anyone here from the public that would like to speak, unless your item's on the agenda, now is the time. Seeing and hearing no takers, we're going to move right along. Number 5, discussion action, item B, resolution to make safe or demolish 1044 Ontario Street. I believe we have Raleigh from EDP here to just talk on this. We also have the property owner here as well. You want to come sit up at the table? We're going to have Raleigh speak first, and then you'll be able to speak after he's done.
Sure. I won't go through the whole backstory just because I believe this has been before you prior. Generally, at this stage in the game, what you request from the department is just any updates in terms of permits or code. And so the only update I have from BSNA is that a mechanical permit was applied for on May 14th, 24. It's ready to be issued. It just has to be paid. And any other code related or permit requests?
So none of the statuses are still the same. Okay. All right, sir.
All right. So, I did.
Can I get your name for the record?
Jordan Craig.
Thank you.
Not sure what, well, that's not the one you're looking at, but I have a permit number PM24-1730. Oasis Heating and Cooling. Just to install my water heater.
That would be your mechanical permit. So they applied for it, they haven't paid. So technically, in our system, it's labeled ready to be issued, but it hasn't been issued. So they just have to come in and pay it, and then they can proceed to do any work that you've hired them to do, and then they can request an inspection.
Okay, what could I do about them not paying?
And not, what do you, like in terms of?
Like, they're the only ones that can open.
Correct, yep. So we can send them a reminder, or you can let them know that the building safety office is ready to issue them that permit. They just have to stop in or pay online.
Okay, if you could send them that, because I did do the work, I have a picture right here. My water heater installed. Sure. Like, and again, there's nothing I can do. So, as an owner, I can't pull the permit. I can't tell him. He's a business owner. He does that.
Correct. You could ask them. I mean, you could let them know, hey, where's your permit?
That's what I said, and that's when he gave me this number.
Yeah, they should have the permit on the job site available. Try to be a little cautious just because they've done work and they've done work without a permit technically.
Okay.
But again, that would all, they're liable for all that. I think we should both encourage them.
Okay.
You should reach out to them, and I'll ask the building safety office to do the same. They absolutely need to come and pay online, and then they can schedule an inspection.
Right.
Otherwise, to the committee member, I can't confirm
Yeah.
the validity of it.
And do you have
Thank
the
you.
date of that permit?
It was ready issue was on May 14th.
That's a PM 24-1730. Because they just did this during my last meeting, which was the 10th. It's the first time I contacted them, so I'm not sure. So, on to the next issue. They also did my ducts work that was missing. That's on my violation list. They also did a furnace inspection. Carbon monoxide. I passed that with picture from here. Another violation off the list. Got a picture of my siding replayer. Another violation off the list. Window, back to an attic window and vent. Got a picture of those. Another violation off the list. And I also have some estimates for plumbing, which is my main thing left, is to do the plumbing in the kitchen and bathroom. Yeah, if you have any questions, I have my smoke detector and handrail, and I have 2 other violations on the list. Those aren't put up until the final stages. But if you want to see
No. But all this work needs a permit.
This year,
Right,
then,
and no permits have been pulled, so this company's been doing all this work, with no permits.
you gave me a permit number, I didn't have that.
Well, Raleigh's saying, the
Okay,
director's saying that they haven't actually gotten the permits. They've started.
Pulled the permit, but haven't done it, so they did the work without having.
it says 9/7/27 is when this permit applied.
9/7/27.
3 years from now.
Or, excuse me, 24, okay, 9/27/24 is when this was. Applied date 9/27/2024, unless he has any
Actual
website.
photos on top of the.
Yeah. And I think Councilmember Spatafor and I share the same concern, which is there's work being done that needs a permit, and there's no permit on file.
And as a homeowner, I can't do that.
Well, I understand that, but as a homeowner, a lot of this work should be being done by people that can hold the permits.
It's just a very reputable business, Oasis Heating and Cooling. So just go tell the city who I am, they know me.
If I may, I think that's kind of the conundrum for us because I mean, I've heard of this company, and so I'm not doubting that you're working with them or whatever it is, but
yeah.
as a homeowner, it is your responsibility to make sure that company is pulling the proper permits, and as the homeowner, it is your responsibility to ensure that they're paying for the permits. I understand how you're saying you view it. I mean, and I've been through some of that before as well. Like, you can't go and pull the permits because you're not licensed. However, as the homeowner, it is your responsibility to stay on top of what that company that you hired to do is doing. You understand?
Showed up to install the hot water heater and satisfied with that.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's, just not how this works. That packet that you handed us, can I grab that back from you? We just need to make copies for the record.
I'll have Renee come back here and get it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh,
Does anyone have anything?
and again, this is all since our last meeting of September 10th. See, never put anything. This was, I have to pay all these people to that. It's not like I'm there doing the work. This is $2,000 for the water heater and duct work. To put the window in, almost 500. The window in the attic bed. This is awesome. Less than a month of work.
Well, does any of the committee members have anything?
I have a question, because I haven't seen a situation like this before since I've been on council, so, and maybe this is a Raleigh question, for anyone else at the table, what is repercussion for a company who's doing work without properly, I mean, they understand what their responsibility is, but what is the repercussion?
In a situation like this, since our system can clearly show that they've applied, right? And that it's just a matter they need to pay, is we generally wouldn't know that work's being performed outside of being here. Because generally what we see is they pay and then they request an inspection. So in our case, we probably don't ever really see the in-betweens of those things. We do have the fee and fine where we can do work without permit. So we could assess that to the contractor for simply having started the project without the permit having been issued. That's the initial means of enforcement on our end. If it's a habitual offender, then we have means to report them to Lara as they're licensed by the state in that trade. I would have to do more research on this contract, so I'm not certainly saying that that's a matter. I think if you're looking for a recommendation from the department, maybe specifically to this, based on photo evidence, my recommendation would be give us a chance to get this paid and to then inspect that work so we can answer that it was done in terms of compliance with code. To then give you some reasoning behind whether or not progress is being made. Does that help?
And
Well-
what is, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
to cut you off. In terms of your inspection list, do you have any idea if this, you know, let's say tomorrow, I mean, we're after 4 PM, so let's say tomorrow you're
No, just one. for the
looking
record.
at this some more and then it's placed on the inspection list after you speak with this company about how long, yeah, ballpark.
For mechanical specifically, we're about 2 to 3 days for an inspection request. So we would be able to get on it fairly.
Yep, Peter.
So I think Councilmember Pellongo has kind of gone down my line of questioning. It does appear that the advice we given was show some progress. It sounds like the contractor might not be acting in good faith. I'd be willing to table this till our next meeting and see if this can be sorted out with the department. Obviously, the contractor has not necessarily complied with the spirit of the law, but maybe we can work through that. And if that doesn't work out, then we're back here in 2 weeks. At least the process hasn't moved forward. And it does, down to the home, Mr. Craig, I think you have demonstrated that you're trying to do some work here. I know we've got a history of a long period of time of no work, but we'll move that aside to the last month. And it does show some progress attempted to be made, albeit maybe not directly according to law, but everyone does it. It's wait and see.
Riley, on these properties, once we make our orders, what is the demolition turnaround usually right now?
Or if we were to.
Once we make this order and the 30 days has passed, or I believe this is 30 days.
Isn't it 21?
Sure.
Or are we at 21 for the statute, or this is different?
Not the resolution.
Oh,
This isn't fire damage.
There's nothing unsafe about the houses in this finishing stages.
So the resolution will need to be amended.
It's 30 days.
To answer your question,
Yeah.
so if it gets that far, for the homeowners education here, they're saying, if it's out of Committee Council, they all go and say, yeah, make safe demolish, and you fail to do that. And then it's required by law for the city to come in and demolish property. I would guess somewhere between 60 to 90 days. We are required to follow the bidding process, so we'd have to put that out for bid, solicit those bid. And the reason I'm adding a little timing is just because winter's coming up, so depending on that impact of weather and whatnot, but usually 60 to 90 days, we're able to secure a bid, enter into agreement with the contractor, and then they can schedule it from there.
So we're looking at possibly 5 months time right now to be able to fix this. So even if we did move forward with this, there would be ample time to correct the issues. And once correct me if I'm wrong, Riley, once it's made safe, even in the demo process, that stops, correct? If it is made safe, then it,
Yep, so what will happen if you council orders it to be made safe and demolished within that time frame, at that 30th day or whatever, we would review our internal records, generally searching to see if demo permit has been issued and finalized out, or on the make safe side of it, we would be looking to see any building permits, mechanical, any trade permits having been finalized out, and ultimately the red tag.
okay. And then even beyond that, once the bid's gone out, is it still something that can be pulled back?
To my knowledge, no. My understanding is after that 30 days, 21 days depending, the owner hasn't done so. We are required to come in and demolish the property. I don't know that there's a means. You know, or Teresa could tell me otherwise. I don't believe there's a means for a post that to be made safe date and us physically coming down with a wrecking ball.
Yeah,
to
once
go
we've
back.
hired, essentially bid out the demolition,
That's it.
that's
Okay.
to my understanding. I can double check with the city attorney if you'd like.
No, I think that's good. So sounds like we want to table this then. Yeah. Okay.
I would say, just to put it out there, I'm fine with tabling until our next meeting, but I would not be inclined to table this any further if this permit issue isn't resolved within the next 2 weeks. So
Suggest I know about that.
Raleigh will give you a
If you feel strongly about that, I'm wondering what you would do in my situation, or like why you feel so strongly about me.
And I appreciate that, sir, but this has been red tag since 2016.
Sure, I bought it in
And
2019.
we didn't see any movement until this process started, to be fair. And, you know, we're giving you the grace of a little bit more time here And we don't have to table it, and I think that we're willing to do that because we've had previous properties that we've done this with, and we've gotten burned on them. So, we're giving you that grace, and I think that within 2 weeks, working with Raleigh's team, you should be able to get some things moving to where we would be in a more comfortable position.
Again, I've never been specifically told on whose responsibility it is to say why this is unsafe. No one's living in it, no one has lived in it. I keep getting this 2016 red tag thing brought up, and I bought the property in 2019.
What that means is that the city of Lansing in 2016 was called out to the property for some reason or another and completed an inspection that resulted in determining that the house was unsafe. And we commonly call that red tags we placed on the property at that time. That's where that original enforcement letter is. That cites all of the original issues that we found. And then we're able to do that. That comes from our local housing law on the books, international property maintenance code. Those are the two tools.
So I have that 2016 inspection sheet. Everything on that has been clear.
Yeah.
At the rate.
Everything on that has been clear.
22nd.
Then they came out.
And I would, sir, sir, I do.
I give you my business card, my cell in the back.
Yeah, we
I'll go into
appreciate
more detail with that tomorrow. We can talk through this over that time.
I appreciate that, Raleigh, very much. So, then we're gonna table this until the 22nd. Need a motion on a table.
I think he kind of already
Did
did.
you give
Yeah,
them? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so we have a proper motion in place. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, it's tabled. Sir, this will be tabled until our next meeting, 4 PM, same room, October 22nd. Thank you.
Sure.
All right, so next we are on to item C, which is a joint reappointment of Anna Neal and Jacqueline Gallant to the Ingham County City of Lansing Community Corrections Advisory Board for a term to expire September 17th, 2027.
The only action the committee has to take is to affirm
Okay,
this joint appointment.
I move to affirm the joint appointment.
all right, we have a proper motion in place. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, passes 3-0. Next, we are on to other. We have item D, which is street parking enforcement, Office of the City Attorney. This was something that was discussed last month. And it looks like maybe parking's here. Mr. King is here from parking as well. So if we could get an update on where we're at with the current roadmap we're doing. I'm looking for the right word.
So the city attorney's office has drafted an ordinance regarding requiring vehicles parked on the streets to have a valid registration. That is currently undergoing the office's review process, which includes, a meeting with all the attorneys where we all kind of go through it. That meeting is scheduled for later this week, so there is a draft that you will be seeing in your very near future.
Okay. And then, I guess just if members aren't familiar, this would essentially, as she said, cars that are not properly plated, properly registered. Now, who would write the ticket for
Could
that?
be parking enforcement, it could be police officers.
Okay. And Hal, does parking have the capacity to do this as well?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, there's not a real issue there. We brought this up a few times already. In trying to get not only that, but get through Lansing Connect, get quite a number of abandoned vehicles. And so we're looking at trying to do something like that as well, where if they're there more than 48 hours, then you can start that. That in and of itself will start people to look at it and say, oh, geez, I got to move this thing.
Yeah.
Rather than just leave it sit out in front of the house for 6 months and block the snow plows and everything else.
And this won't affect, correct me if I'm wrong, the folks, my spouse who parks in the street every day but drives to work, that wouldn't affect that parking. It's not people that are.
People are still permitted to park on the
Yep.
street. There's no street parking prohibition. It's just that if we were to enact this ordinance that OCA has proposed, your registration would have to be valid to park on the street. So if, your birthday just went by and you didn't update your plates, you could get a ticket for parking on the street with an expired registration or a non-valid registration.
Or if you parked your car that you're piecing apart in the street as well. Do you guys have any questions on this?
No, I don't.
Raleigh?
Can I ask a question? As the three people all know, so as Lisa, there's a fine line of distinguishing the fund that the city attorney's office gets to have in service to council, but then also in service to the administration. I asked for us to be able to more formally engage with Lisa and so forth, we're on this, permission from whoever, the sponsor, author, draft, work with us on this, or?
Yeah, I don't see why not. Yeah, that would be
I
fine.
just think so.
Leadership, leadership handed it off to me. And so, yeah, that would be great, because I think collaboration is the best way we can craft things. All right, well, if no one has anything, we're gonna move to the next item. E, which is a red tag landlord hotel fee update from the city attorney. Essentially, we're just working on something here to recoup costs that we incur as a city. So, and I had spoken to Greg earlier last week, and then Lisa, I think, was going to give us just a little bit of where they're at right now with this.
Yeah, so the request was made to see if we could enact some sort of ordinance that would help us essentially help displace folks who are renting a property that becomes red tagged and help with that cost. We have some innovative ideas that we are going to put together in an ordinance. It is very nuanced and not an easy thing to be writing, so it is taking us a little time to get that drafted and going through that. I don't want to go into too much detail about the specifics of what the ordinance, we're sort of envisioning it as being proposed, just because we don't have the words on the paper yet. But it is something we are diligently working on and drafting.
All right, Lisa, well, I appreciate that. Does anyone have any questions? Okay. Is there any further business before this body? Seeing and hearing none, we are adjourned at 4:22. Thank you.